Yeah, so I'm up to 30 hours of meditation every day now.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You know, when you get to mastery level, you'll be able to do 50.
That's what I'm working on. That's why I got you here, man. I need to get tapped in. And I think this conversation gonna be the one that can help people listen. Deepak Chopra told me he was floating with Michael Jackson when he can levitate. Told me he don't do it no more because people be getting scared. So I know you've mastered that technique, so I need you to do it in this episode.
It's not even a word.
Good.
Let's get it. But I was trying to figure out, is that marble on top of your head?
It is.
Why?
You went and asked Virgil Abloh why. Speaking of, we're gonna talk about him because this design thing, and I think everybody needs to tap into. A lot of people want to get into fashion and art, but they don't know how to design. Everything in the world is design. Design creates interaction. We'll get into some high-level conversations. Listen, I know you're single. You understand me? You dating all these millennial women. So I want to talk about this conversation on what type of men or women you should be looking for in 2022. I always personally say women should not date a man that ain't into crypto. You understand me? But listen, I want to know your thoughts on polygamy.
We'll talk about it.
Well, let's tap in.
But I'm gonna let you know that I will ask Virgil that.
Well, this is what we tackling in the war room. All right.
I'll ask him that.
Conversation about political, economic, and wealth building. This is the War Room.
This is the introduction. An introduction is a way of beginning an episode of anything, whether it's a speech, whether it's a lecture. Today, this is an episode of a podcast. I'm 19 Keys. It's an international brand that I created as a thought leader, influencing the culture to the ideas and thoughts that we should be paying attention to. I'm also gathered here with my co-host, who is also my sibling. A sibling is somebody from the same family group as you. Same mother, same father, same spiritual advancement. He's going to be taking this journey with us through this podcast and tapping in. He is known by Basheer Music, but he is felt by the spirit and the frequency of his spiritual gurus.
Absolutely.
Now, the reason I started it off like that is because design leads with empathy, right? Design does not assume. Design teaches, it leads, it communicates. If I design and say this is an intro, it is clear. You can reference that, you know what's coming next. The next thing we're doing is we're breaking into a segment, right? A segment is going to go into a full-length conversation on multiple topics. These topics are meant to steer you into perspectives, engage you into entertainment, but also lead you into higher thoughts, right? And that's where my thought leadership comes. The reason I have my brother, this is somebody I'm familiar with. We're comfortable. It's late night, it's in LA. But regardless, at any time, we can tap in. So today, I want to start with one of the greatest design architects of our culture. That is Virgil Abloh. Unfortunately, Virgil Abloh passed at 41 years old. He was, I would say, very capable and innovative and inventive and genius of his time, right? He started off with the classical training and education as an architect, and he shifted that into design. And he also started off working with Kanye West, and Kanye West famously quotes that Virgil Abloh stole his dream job. And Kanye West believes himself to be the greatest artist, God ever. So for you to take something from Kanye West, and what that job was, right, was being the head designer at Louis Vuitton. Right now, before he got there, he started off with Off-White. Off-White became one of the most prominent hype beast street brands in the world, where he would take some of the most universal things and he would brand them until they were his, like utilizing the sidewalk designs, right, or the caution sign, or putting parentheses on his words. And it became an emphasis that was connected to his branding and was considered to be his design ethos, right? So everywhere you see a sidewalk and you see the hazard light, you might think of Virgil Abloh, the genius of it, for him to take credit for things that were already created. And every time you see it, you reference his design. Now, one beautiful thing that he did that all artists should take note is business. One of the things is he made sure that he still owns his name in perpetuity and any other designs that may be connected to his name in the way that he established his deal with LVMH. Normally, when they do deals with people, let's say they do deals with a brand designer such as, let's say, Tom Ford, or they do anybody that uses their name, right? Virgil Abloh owned the trademark of Off-White. Now, what he did was at first he owned 100% of that, but then he did a deal with them to where they own 60% and he owned 40%. So yes, they have the majority stake. So how did he control his company, his name, and his brand? Well, normally when they do deals with people, they're doing deals with their name, right? So he do deals with Off-White. So at any other point in time that if there's any other design ethos connected to his mind, he can put it under his name as Virgil Abloh. Now, of course, there's a non-compete clause in there that says that he wouldn't have came straight out the gate as soon as he done with Louis and then just ran off with Virgil Abloh. But he kept his name, you understand me, forever. He only gave access to the trademark of his brand, which was genius. And it goes to the mindset of setting up business and some of the details that we may miss. One of the things that he talked about was leaving things undone, right? You don't, and I like about that design aesthetic and ethos that he added in there. And this, when I talk about ethos, I'm talking about conceptually of how you design things, how you put things together, right? That you follow this method of everything, this philosophy, right? That goes into your madness of how you put things together.
Peace family, 19 Keys tapping in with you. I want to tell you why you need to tap into the infinite wealth strategies. Number one, there's a lot of millionaires being brought every single day, right? The job market is devastated, you understand me? You can go to college, but it's better to get you a skill. I've had several six-figure days in the market trading, right? Cryptocurrency. And at the time, I had little knowledge, right? I've sold an NFT, which was just a digital picture rendering, for over $16,000. But why? Because I understood the market and I knew the value of it. I've sold thousands of books, you understand me, on my e-commerce platform, utilizing my strategies that I teach inside the Infinite Wealth Strategy. But I also have a beautiful community of people all around the world assisting, providing information, resources, and links, because I know that it's harder to learn by yourself, but it's better to learn in a community sense. When you join Infinite Wealth Strategies, you too can become a part of a community of people learning together and earning together. Make sure you tap in, because it's an education that you need in order to succeed and build wealth. Don't be on the outside. Tap in. Infinite Wealth Strategies.
And leaving things undone, I like that because I tweeted out earlier today that perfectionism is built out of insecurities. Never believing that you're good enough, right? So people want to perfect something, and there's no such thing as perfection. There's just insecurity, not believing it's ready. But the idea of it's perfect, undone, you understand me, always means that you're ready, always means that you can move onward now. You've done enough. I like it. I love it, actually. You know, I think that we look at a couch. This couch is completely done. It is a couch. But if you take something away from this couch and you leave it undone, it becomes like an art. It becomes a concept. It becomes a piece, right? Because it is a thought now. You understand me? It is an intention left in it. And I don't think that we understand design enough, right? I talk about design in revolution. Most of our revolutions are too lazy, and that's why they don't go anywhere. There's no real design. If you look at Donald Trump, he had design in Make America Great Again. That became a brand, a slogan, a frequency, right? He had colors behind it. He was a brand himself. He knew how to repeat things over and over and over until it was embedded into the head, right? It's the same thing with any propaganda, right? The Soviet Union utilized propaganda to get people to, you know, understand ideas that they wanted to push on them. It's the same thing that the Black Panthers did with the designer Emory Davis. He designed a lot of those famous pieces that we've seen with the Black Panthers, and they had the families on there. And what he would do is, by putting the images out there, you would look at the image, you understand me, and you would evoke feeling and emotion, and you would decide what it means for you. And once you do that, you're owning the revolution for yourself. So it's more powerful than any words or any speech that could have been said, the pictures. But it also goes towards the idea that not everybody understands this vast vocabulary, the concept that you may break down. But everybody can feel something. So the design connects an emotion and communicates something to each individual for them to understand their perspective at their level, right? And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had the same thing, right? He designed, you got the bow ties, you have the clean cut, you understand me? You got the shaved black man, you understand me, shining with the black suit on, right? That was a design of the FOI, right? Everything has to go with design. That goes into occult knowledge. You understand me? Creating rituals. You understand me? Creating methods and symbols. So today, I think that we're lazy because anytime you want to have a financial revolution, right? Financial literacy, if you want to have a mental health, you understand me, revolution, who is designing it? Who is architecting it, right? If you go to, when the average time you look at a doorknob, do you know who designed it? No, right? But every time you go to a doorknob handle, it usually turns one way, right? You understand me? So the next time you touch another door handle, you're going to turn it that way. So what they're doing is, regardless, whoever sets that up, usually whoever sets up the first one, the next person designs after them and after them and after them and after them and after them. Who says it has to turn that way? See, the child mind is creative. The child mind is a rebel against all design. That is why when a child grows up in an environment, he's asking why. The creative mind always asks why. He needs to know why things are and they can't be different. You understand me? Why it turn left? How come it can't turn right to lock? You understand me? And once you do that, it puts you in a designer mindset. Every child is a designer. That's why they question everything. Why we got to do this? Why we can't do this? Why I got to go to sleep? You understand me? The child wants to know, and then the adult is indoctrinating the design of the world onto the child's mind so they will know how to operate per the instructions on how to move throughout the world. You understand me? But see, when the adult mind is protected, or when the child mind is protected, even regardless of how much you grow, you understand me, and you continue to ask why and to question reality, you become a designer. You want things made in your image. You understand me? And they always say God made man in his image. You understand me? So if you really want to be a God, you have to make things in your image.
Yeah. I spend so much time in their image.
Absolutely. Now, one thing is there's no better designer than nature. Nature does not make things with straight lines. You understand me? Nature moves with the curves and the flows. You understand me? Of universal geometry. But nature designs everything with purpose. So if I was to design myself, and I have designed myself up until current day status, everything that I've done throughout my life leading up to this point, I've designed it. I sat down with a vision, applied in a plan and a strategy, and I designed it to a T. I designed it to the point, what do I want my design to communicate? If you see the crown on my head, I have to think, what do I want people to feel? Right? What do I want people to think? A lot of people, they operate and they say people are biased and discriminatory. Well, a lot of times those people are just operating off the design ethos that you set for yourself, that you've archetyped from someone else, right? So if you got the design of a nigga, design of a real nigga, ignorant nigga, but you want them to treat you otherwise. It's like a lot of people still sag their pants, right? Walking down the street, sagging your pants. You might speak a certain way. That design, they're used to interacting with that design a certain way. You understand me? Oh, this person is unintelligent or ignorant, or they have statistics matching that design. This design of a human being probably gonna be in jail or dead. You understand me? This person probably comes from a broken family or household. Right. So when somebody treats you based on your design, how can you get mad at them? You designed yourself that way. So if you want people to treat you differently, then you have to change your design, right? So it's the same thing with men and women, right? A woman may want men to treat her differently, but men are used to seeing a certain design aesthetic, and that's how it communicates to what type of woman that is to them. You understand me? That's why, I say opposites attract. You understand me? And you're always supposed to be in the world, but not of it. Design yourself outside the world, not inside the world. Because inside the world, people are going to only react to you based on your design. So once you can sit down and you can plot and plan every aspect of your life and design it, and the world will react to you that way. You can design the way you move, the way you talk, the way you speak. Your voice can get deeper. You understand me? You can speak with your head up, and people will be like, this must be confidence, subconscious confidence.
I think people have to know how to do that.
Yeah, so that's where you start from. Start with intention. What is your intention with yourself? And this is something I've been getting to, right? You go to, you young, somebody asked you before, what's your intention with my daughter, right? Now, if somebody asks you that question, they want to know, are you going to treat the daughter good or bad? And if you have bad intentions, they don't want you taking their daughter out. You understand me? Now, people, we think about that, right? But we don't ask ourselves, what is our intentions with ourselves? Now, the reason I say this, and this is so important, is this key right here. We treat ourselves bad all the time. The way we eat, places we go to, we say yes to things that we know not good for us. You understand me? We'll take ourselves to all kind of places that have nothing to do with our intentions. So we don't have good intentions for ourselves all the time. We'll put ourselves in positions and situations that can get us killed or get us disease. You understand me? Or leave us in poverty. So we have a bad relationship with ourselves. We take ourselves on the worst dates possible sometimes. Eating the most terrible food, going to the most terrible places, putting nothing in our mind. You understand me? So most people never check, damn, do I got good intentions with myself? You understand me? Like, you always in a relationship with yourself everywhere you go, everywhere you do, everything that you think. You understand me? And so when I check that, that's based on how much you love yourself. See, if you don't really love yourself, you treat yourself any kind of way. Person you love, you want to get on the highest quality of experience. And one thought that I've been asking, let me ask you this. You think about, like, imagine you got your younger self with you, your 5-year-old self, right? And this 5-year-old self will follow you around for the rest of your life. You understand me? Now, once you gone, you understand me, the way that you influence your child self will influence who they become after you gone. They're going to watch everything that you do, the situations you put yourself in, the places you go. You understand me? And it's going to have an effect on their psyche and their mind. Now, the average person, I would imagine, that they would make different decisions if they knew that their child self was watching them this whole time. They probably wouldn't do the drugs they did. They probably wouldn't mess with the people they mess with, go to the environments they go to, because they know that if I do the wrong thing, it's going to influence them to do the wrong thing. And I want to protect the purity of this child. You understand me? I don't want to do anything that would lead them in the wrong direction. Well, if we have love for this idea of our own purity, how come we don't have that same perspective when it comes to protecting ourselves? See, we wouldn't want a child to watch us because we're protecting that purity. But when it comes to us watching over ourselves, we don't protect that within ourselves. You understand me? So the idea is thinking upon.
So what's the question?
That is the question, but it's also the answer. Well, the question is, would you, and don't think about just you now, right? Because you are an advanced version of yourself, you understand me, today. But would it have an effect on the decisions that you make if throughout your whole life, you understand me, if 5-year-old you was watching you the whole time?
I mean, yeah, I think on a certain level, but I know still on a certain level that I probably wouldn't change my decisions.
You wouldn't change your decisions?
I mean, the only decisions I would think to change would be the ones in which, how you treat women in certain ways when you grow up, you know, being teenagers and that age range, and how you talk to, you know, connect with women and be around women and treat them a certain type of way. I think as men, we end up growing in our more masculine minds when we start to, you know, treat our women in a far better, you know, perspective. And that's something that I would definitely teach my younger self better upon. You understand?
Now, what about different aspects, even financially? Because you know that if this child watches you make certain financial decisions, they're going to follow those decisions. Right. But also, even the way you eat, right? Like, damn, if this child only sees me eat junk food, then they go eat junk food, right? Or even a place you may go to, damn, man, this kid gonna see me, do I need to go to the club tonight? They know that I ain't did none of the things I'm supposed to be doing, but if I go to the club, I'm evading my responsibility so I can escape reality.
No, you super right on that, cuz the candy, that shit gotta go. Yeah. 100%. Yeah. 100%.
So it's like, but the idea that I want people to get is that that child in you is always with you. See, we talk about the idea of growing up, and on average, human beings stop growing up at 20 years old, right? Men, women, a little lesser, you understand me? But men, as far as our body growth. So the idea of grow up, no, we stop growing up physically, you understand me, around 20 years old. Women around 18, right? So I always tell people that it's not about growing up, it's about growing out. You understand me? When you grow out, then you're growing out of your old self. You're shedding, you're growing into a new self. You understand me? You're growing out of your old friends. You're going out of your old ideas, out of your old visions, out of your old habits, right? And so we have to think about, instead of growing up, we change our language to grow out. It's time for you to grow out.
Yeah, or grow within.
A conversation about political, economic, and wealth building. This is the War Room.
Peace family, it's 19 Keys tapping in. Do you have the knowledge to be able to teach your child cryptocurrency, how to build wealth? Do you have the knowledge to be able to teach them NFTs? See, I know a lot of you all think that you love your children, but I believe that love is an act and it's a duty. A lot of you all think that you love yourself, but you're depriving yourself knowledge that you can be utilizing in order to invest and live a better life. And that same knowledge can help produce a better life for your child. Now, if you learn this simple information by taking a few courses, you understand me, you have the ability to be able to teach, discuss it, and learn a whole new language, which also builds you a whole new life. So therefore, the next time that you stare your child in the eye, you can actually be honest when you say that you love them, because you know you're doing every single thing to set them up for the future. Make sure you tap into Infinite Wealth Strategies. We'll teach you financial literacy, we'll teach you, put you in the community, teach you how to write books, teach you how to produce a book for your child if you got one, teach you how to set up your portfolio, how to set up your trust, and a multitude of other different things that is involved in it. Take your first step in building a better future. Join Infinite Wealth Strategies and become a strategist of wealth. Tap in.